Welcome to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
Welcome back to Behind the Law, featuring Justin Clark of Gregory and Clark Attorneys at Law. Their offices are in Longwood, and we'll get to that location coming up. And we'll get to the website. The phone number at the office is 321-282-1055. That's 321-282-1055. And if you want to call the radio show, 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. And we are discussing foreclosures, short sales, modifications, but we have a really special guest with us today who's giving us a very interesting look at this from the other side of the coin, looking at it from how do banks look at modifications? What's in it for them, and what's their eventual strategy? And what about all these short sales in Central Florida we're not hearing about anymore? Are there still some out there? Well, they number in the thousands. Lee Honish is with us. But back to attorney Justin Clark.
Last loan mod question. I almost promised. I hope I promised. I hope I'm promising.
There should be many of them, actually.
Okay.
I think they are a phenomenal scam.
Okay.
I'll say it, scam.
Did back a couple years ago, and to be honest, I don't really see this happen anymore. When someone does a loan modification, normally they make a 3-month trial payment, which I'm totally okay with. Now I find in my practice that once we make those 3 payments, the loan mod is locked in. However, I can't tell you how different it was a couple of years ago. When my client would get a 3-month trial payment, I would say, don't get too excited because we're going to have to go through this whole process again. In fact, you're probably going to pay for 12 months. I don't know if you had a similar experience, but why did they make it so complicated for us back then?
Okay, let's start with the basics. And I don't care if it's HARP or it's HAMP. Understand this, it's only got about a 15 to 20% success rate. I mean, that's the bottom line to it. The people that really get modified are always going to be people who make their payment that are just simply underwater. The mortgage is higher than what's owed on the property. And those are the people who win that game. The next thing to take into account, and I'm talking in general, and it's my perspective on the market, I think loan mods in general are a scam. Banks know full well you didn't make the payments before. Who in their right mind would lend money or reaffirm a loan with somebody who doesn't make their payments? You could tell me all day long that you got a job, but why would I do it? Okay, so let's talk about it. You have a non-documented loan, right? That non-documented loan is now into default. So my first goal is to see if I can get more information, right? Makes collection easier. Number 2, if I get some money in that 90-day trial period, and this is the small print on trial loan mods that everybody really doesn't understand. If you got a countrywide, in my opinion, you should do a short sale and just get it over with. Nobody wants that file sitting around. B of A doesn't want it sitting around. Nobody wants it sitting around. And with these 80, 20, 105, 110, 115% financed houses, it's such bad debt that we put them into these trial periods where, again, we're doing spreader theory. We're pushing it back and trying to deal with it tomorrow. So we'll get some money. We got new information. But ultimately, we know 85% of these people are going to go into default again. So you are actually making it a little more manageable from a banking perspective. And that's why I say they're a scam. I'm not saying that they're doing anything unlawful. There are real loan mods out there. I have seen people get principal reductions. It does occur. It's just, for those of you listening, it's not you. Okay, that's realities. I mean, I can say that statistically and mathematically.
Okay, I lied. Last question.
All
so the obvious question that I think my client has is, okay, I owe you, said bank, whoever, $400,000. I have a good job now. I'm willing to pay a regular interest rate. Why would you rather short sale this property to someone else for $200,000 when I'm willing to pay you $400,000?
Yeah, right. Again, it is dictated by what the market carries, right? So if I look at a house that is in that situation, why should I short sell it? Well, if your neighbor next door is leasing a house for $1,200 and your cheapest payment was $1,300, this is simple math and simple carry. And again, you're never going to, like, the statistical likelihood of anybody really owning their house in this lifetime is impossible. I mean, it's 1 out of 100. So again, why are you, it's an emotional thing. Why are you so attached to this loan mod? Why are you so attached to this house?
We've got to take a break, but here's something to think about. Are you working on a short sale? Whether you're working on a short sale or you're currently in the midst or the market for one, the offices of Gregory and Clark can help you out. Just give their office a call right now at 321-282-1055. That's 321-282-1055. We'll be right back.
Is your house underwater? If you owe more than your house is worth, Justin Clark may be able to get you an interest reduction through the HAMP and HARP programs. It's an easy way for you to keep your home or even just lower your monthly payments. Just give the offices of Gregory and Clark a call at 321-282-1055. There's never any charge for your consultation. So let Justin show you your options. We'll be right back.
But I'm afraid in 2 years, they're still not going to be, their house isn't going to be worth enough to where they can sell it, pay a realtor, pay closing costs, and pay it off still. But I'm not so sure you're going to be able to do short sales 2 years from now.
Stay tuned. Justin Clark will be right back with more Behind the Law. Welcome back to Behind the Law, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
We're going to change gears here a little bit, okay? Now, here's my concern, though, is I have a client, let's say, who knows they want to live in their house for another 2 years, right? They're underwater now. A short sale now is a possibility.
Very much so.
But I'm afraid in 2 years, they're still not going to be, their house isn't going to be worth enough to where they can sell it, pay a realtor, pay closing costs, and pay it off still. But I'm not so sure you're going to be able to do short sales 2 years from now. How do you feel about that?
I'm all for it. And here's what, look, the market is frozen because of a couple of things. And I'm not going to get into big explanations about the Fed and the rate hike that's caused the buyer freeze. I think what's really important for people to understand, if the banks don't want to do a short sale, they don't have to do a short sale. They can just foreclose. They don't have to do loan mods. They do it because it's to their benefit, not yours, because 85% are still going to go sideways. Here's what I say to everybody out there. There's still 1 million homes that could be put onto the market overnight. That would kill the market. The rate could go up even higher, which they're talking about. That could kill the market. If you have an opportunity now, and this is the funny part, you were talking about the perception of the market. Mm-hmm. What's the old term? Strategic default, right? That it's illegal. You're going to go to jail as an attorney, me as a trainer, you as a real estate agent. Now, you want to sell your house and you're just underwater? They'll do it all day long. And you know this in your own office. They'll do it all day long.
Right.
Take advantage of it.
Chris and Maitland, sorry you had to wait so long. Hope you have your charger with you today. Go ahead. What's your question?
Yes, I don't know if you guys can answer this question for me, but I own my house free and clear. It was left to me, and both me and my wife have poor credit, but we're trying to get some kind of equity loan out of it to consolidate our debt and make improvements on the home. Do I have any options?
Absolutely. I mean, if you own your house free and clear, obviously it's going to be a credit rating decision for you, and you have a lot of equity there. So I don't see how a company like RP Funding would not be able to give you some type of loan. Lee, what would be the holdup of getting this guy a loan?
There really wouldn't be. I mean, truthfully, a HELOC or any of those programs are based on the current equity in your property. As somebody who actually ran a HELOC division, remember a home equity line is based on the amount of credit based on the house's equity. So if there's any equity at all, trust me, there's somebody out there who will make that loan. I would guarantee that RP Funding would be able to find that source.
What is the new hotline for RP Funding?
RP has a great hotline for you right there listening to the radio, any of you. And if you're thinking about where your home is in the market right now and you hear all these real estate shows lately and they're all talking about 17, 18, 19, 20% increase in the value of homes over the past year in Central Florida, well, how real is that in your neighborhood? I'm not sure, but we do have realtors out there that are selling houses every day. They're watching the situation right here in your backyard, and they've teamed up with Robert Palmer. He stepped out there and said, we've got to establish something beyond these websites that have who knows what kind of criteria to come up with the price of your home. Zillow being one of them. What is their criteria? How do you know you can depend on it? So Robert put together local real estate professionals. They have band together to help him at his expense. He's giving you 866-222-8231. We're going to take a break right now, but you can get legal advice by calling Justin's office at 321-282-1055. That's 321-282-1055. Associates are standing by. We'll be right back.
Is your house underwater? If you owe more than your house is worth, Justin Clark may be able to get you an interest reduction through the HAMP and HARP programs. It's an easy way for you to keep your home or even just lower your monthly payments. Just give the offices of Gregory and Clark a call at 321-282-1055. There's never any charge for your consultation. So let Justin show you your options. We'll be right back.
Can I put those properties into a trust and protect them?
Absolutely.
And the banks can't touch those, can they?
Correct.
Then I'm going to do a short sale on the other properties, correct?
Correct.
Stay tuned. Justin Clark will be right back with more Behind the Law. Welcome back to Behind the Law, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
Now, Rand has a question for you, attorney, because he called last hour. Now, Rand, give us a Reader's Digest of your situation. You're back in a home. You're going to sell a home at a loss, and you're afraid they're going to come after your Florida property, which is your homestead. Well,
Yes.
Let's go ahead, and you're going to ask these guys what's going to happen. What is that bank going to do? We've got a bank perspective who's right here. Tie you to the railroad track.
Yeah.
And then we've got Justin. Go ahead and give us your scenario, bud.
Okay, my wife first purchased a house back in 2007 in New York, which went into loan modification, which we defaulted on eventually. But in between that time, I purchased 2 homes in Florida cash. The house was so upside down in New York that we went to sell it, but we got no buyers, and so we got renters in there now. Just as the renters came in, the bank came and said, we're going to, the loan modification was through a bankruptcy, and they said they're defaulting the bankruptcy. They're overturning that, so I imagine the bank's right behind them with the foreclosure proceedings on the house there. But I own 2 houses here in Florida cash with her name on these homes in Florida. So I'm wondering, I have no idea what way to go, which way to turn.
Hi, Rand. This is Lee. Since I don't work for a bank, I'm going to help you out here.
Anymore.
Nor will they probably ever have me back.
Never.
So, they're not, in general. And again, why would they? Okay, so Justin, can I legally hide assets?
No. I mean, what do you mean? Can you?
Well, okay, let's say, and here's what I'm kind of leading you to. Can I put those properties into a trust and protect them?
Absolutely.
And the banks can't touch those, can they?
Correct.
Then I'm going to do a short sale on the other properties, correct?
Correct.
Why aren't you calling the law office right now? There's a big plug for you.
Thanks very
Just
much.
like an expert from a bank. A bank can't touch anything inside of a trust no matter what they tell you. Okay? There are ways to legally protect your assets.
So the homes in Florida, which are outright cash buys, he can put in a trust.
Absolutely.
There are ways, when you're doing a short sale, Rob, when you do a short sale on any home, it's not like a process where you just call the bank and say, hey, bank, I've got an offer. Is it cool? Can we just, be done with this? A short sale is a real process where we have to gather all of their financial documentation, and ideally you send it in one big stack all at once, and you have it perfectly underwritten to make it easy for the bank personnel to review it and see everything that they need to do, because they're really answering to someone else above them as well, whether it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or whoever.
Absolutely.
And you have to you want to look a certain way. You don't want to look like a multimillionaire and then ask the bank to take a hit.
Why would you show a bank? And you love this one. This is one of my favorites. I've looked at literally thousands of files, and I've done thousands of negotiations on HELOCs with first and second, certainly on the bank's perspective. People who submit their entire tax return, when it clearly states we only want the first 2 pages, you tell a bank you have a 401k, you get what you get. Okay? Now, can I collect on it? Legally, no. Can I pressure you to give it to me? Of course I can. I'm not going to do this unless I get a cash contribution. That's why it's so imperative to have qualified people do the short sale or to help you or give you advice. Again, we talked about the short sale summit that we have coming up. One of the big things we do there is make sure that people understand about advocacy for homeowners. It's a lost art of knowing all your alternatives. That's why we're having you. That's why all the people that speak there. It's not an upsell event. It's not an event to try to and I tell homeowners, certainly show up. At least you'll get a better understanding of what's going on.
We're going to take a short break, but before we go, are you struggling to make your mortgage payments? Refinancing your home could be as easy as calling Justin Clark. He could help you save your homes. He's worked on thousands of these cases. Just give the offices of Gregory and Clark a call right now at 321-282-1055. We'll be right back.
Is your house underwater? If you owe more than your house is worth, Justin Clark may be able to get you an interest reduction through the HAMP and HARP programs. It's an easy way for you to keep your home or even just lower your monthly payments. Just give the offices of Gregory & Clark a call at 321-282-1055. There's never any charge for your consultation. So let Justin show you your options. We'll be right back.
You can buy, if you're current, you can buy the very next day with the right funding. There are programs out there. You do it just because you're underwater doesn't mean you can't buy another house.
Stay tuned. Justin Clark will be right back with more Behind the Law. Welcome back to Behind the Law, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
Welcome back. Final segment of the show, but we've got so much more to talk about. I tell you what, we may have to have Lee back. What a great in-your-face guest, because I tell you what, he's kind of put it on the line for a lot of folks that have been watching this and going, short sale, I got no problem. I'll be in this house for the rest of my life, and my kids too.
I didn't know Lee before today, but when I first talked to him last night, I said, maybe come in for the second half hour, because I don't know him. I didn't know how long I could have done 8 hours with you today.
We could do 8 hours.
We could have this go as another show. This is some great stuff, because we're really getting the insight as to what they're looking at in the boardroom behind closed doors. As they're looking at the whole constabulary out here with your home and all these homes and going, all right, we know what the White House is saying. We know what the Congress is saying. We know what the news guys are saying. But here's what we are saying, and we control the dollars. This is fun stuff.
Yeah, it's honest. When you say something like that and they say, well, unemployment's dropped by 300,000 people. No, that just means they stopped collecting on their benefits. Okay, it doesn't mean they found jobs. They didn't just magically appear. Disney hasn't, the project here in Orlando, the $1.1 billion. They haven't started that construction project yet. They haven't started funding all that building yet. So where are these magical jobs coming from? You got to have some way to pay for this stuff.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's go to Andy in Orlando. Andy, you've been holding for a long time. We really want to get your call on the air, so go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. I did a short sale on my home, and I want to know how long I need to wait before I can buy another home. And then my bank, they reported my short sale on my credit. I went to buy a car, and they told me that it's showing up as a foreclosure.
Okay. Let's go through it, Andy. Number one, it sounds like you were delinquent when you did the short sale. There are two types of short sales, right? You're current and you do a short sale, or you're delinquent and you do a short sale. First of all, you shouldn't have the words foreclosure on your credit. You should have paid less than agreed or settled for less than full. And it's, again, another topic that's going to come up at the event. We're going to have credit experts from United Credit Education Services, UCES-.org. They'll be there to train real estate agents on this. This is really important. You can buy, if you're current, you can buy the very next day with the right funding. There are programs out there. You do it just because you're underwater doesn't mean you can't buy another house. That's number one. If you're delinquent, the very worst it's going to be is 2 years on your credit. It's 0 to 200 points. There is no set formula, but it shouldn't be marked as a foreclosure. It should be settled for less than agreed, settled for less than full. But again, why you need to use a competent attorney and great credit cleaning on top of it.
I think there's a huge distinction when you do a short sale, when it just says debt settled for less than amount due on your credit rating, as opposed to that foreclosure in the judgment section. And that's one of the main reasons to do a short sale, other than get out from under that deficiency, is to make sure you can buy another property within 2 years. And that's the biggest difference in the world from having foreclosure stuck down there, labeled for a long time, as opposed to it just saying debt settled for less than amount due.
I cannot stress this enough. This is the greatest country in the world, okay? No family member would let you flake for $200,000 or $300,000 on them. And this is a fact, and it's already happened in this market. I owe Wells Fargo $500,000. I settle for $200,000. 2 years later, while being delinquent, the right credit terms, I can go back and they'll lend me money again. Is this a great country or what?
Amen.
I mean, Don King had it correct. Who would do that? You wouldn't do that for a family member.
Amen to that. All right, very cool. So tell us more. Now, how do they sign up for the forum? It's going to be at the Radisson, which is changing in names to the Allure. Probably the day you do this, the new sign's going to come up, and everybody's going to show up at the Rosen thinking Radisson. That doesn't work. Okay, Radisson. Allure.
8444 South International Drive, smack dab in the middle of International Drive. And again, I apologize, but it's a great space. Got plenty of seats. Go to Honish.com, HONISH.com. gregoryandclark.com. Right at the top, you'll see an Eventbrite link. Click on the link, type in, there's an offer code. I'll even get you in at 50% off. Use the word Lee Honish, Leehonish, and I'll get you in there. 2.5 days of training, some of the best minds from across the country. I'm going to focus, I'm going to stay away from the attorneys and all the guys who do closings all day long. I've got you and David, guys who do nothing but close short sales. I'm avoiding that one, even though I think I know more than them, but that's just me.
There we go.
I'm going to focus on how to get real estate people, including investors, we were talking about this, deals. Let's go get the 8,000. They're sitting out there. If you're a real estate agent and you are just into being average and getting those 6 listings per year, somebody's got to slap you and wake you up. There's 8,000 deals out there.
Thanks for being here, Lee.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. We'll see you Friday morning.
Your website, Justin.
Gregory-Clark.com, 321-282-1055.
That's going to wrap up our discussion, but there's still so much to talk about that could save your home. So if you have questions, give the offices of Gregory and Clark a call right now at 321-282-1055. There's never a charge for a consultation, and it could save your home. We'll see you again next week, right here on TV 27.
Thank you for watching Behind the Law with Justin Clark. Be sure to join us again next week as Justin takes you behind the law and answers your legal questions.